Hello everybody, welcome to the third vlog for Soul Dream. Welcome back again. If you're the usual here, I guess there's only been two, but if you are a usual, I'm glad you're here. So, this is gonna be a bit of a short one because I am really tired and I'm also pretty whelmed. So we're making this a bit of an introspective. Let me just put some old footage here so you can see what's going on. Basically, to put it this way, this game has been in the works since January, but it's only really started to pick up, especially during like April, around that time. And I'm honestly just so I'm kind of overwhelmed by the fact that it's finished, or at least the first milestone is finished, which is basically it's a game already. You have at least 10 minutes of gameplay that you can go through, and it's very complete. It's as clean as can be. It is pretty complete for what it has, even if it's only two enemies and a single player character. You know, you have music, sound effects, things that work, pretty minimal bugs. Like, for the most part, you wouldn't notice too many of them, or if you do notice them, they're not really game breaking. And yeah, it's crazy to think, you know, I'm just picturing this because I'm not exactly seeing what you're seeing in the video, but back when it started, it was very, very rough. I didn't know what the hell I was doing with Soul Dream or what it was going to be. All I knew was it was going to be a mobile game, it was going to be roguelike, and that's what I was thinking. Maybe I'll monetize that way, but even then, you know, I'm not exactly the best artist. So the key was always to have at least a strong gameplay core, like loop or whatever. The combat needs to work, the loot needs to work, everything else needs to work. In exploration, everything needs to feel good. And looking up to this point now, I have achieved that. And on Chop, oof, I'm doing my chops. Okay, on top of all of that, now I also have artwork that works. I have music that works. I have everything that works, and it's crazy to think about. It's actually like, I'm kind of impressed with myself. At this point, I don't have too many regrets. I do hope, as you are playing the game on itch.io, that please put some honest feedback in the comments if you can, because I appreciate every single one of those. You know, you think the gameplay can be one way or this, or art style can be like this or like that, or even if all you want is more game, put that into feedback, because at least that last one complaint of there's not enough game is the best feedback I can get, because that means that this is a good project and this is something I should keep on working. So that's the first part of this video. So the next part is reflection. Let's draw a quick mirror here. Oh, I forgot to change the color out. Okay, I hope you like my mirror here. It's beautiful, I know. You're very beautiful. I'll give him some eyes as well. And a nose. Okay, there we go. So, what are kind of my takeaways from this point that I would say pass on to a new budding developer, or just some random guy who's coming to watch this video, or girl, or person? Maybe I'll talk a bit about how kind of this development went. I'll clear some space here, it's just so we don't really need this. Okay. So, my plan from the start was always going to be like, gameplay was always going to be the first priority, and thing is, that is a very complicated beast, right? It's not just... Gameplay is a bit more than, you know, what you see on the screen, how you interact with the systems. You know, it's not just, okay, you have a controller, whatever, and you press buttons and weird things happen. You have all these weird icons that do things, and maybe, oh gosh, those are leaves. And you know, maybe you can interact with a tree, maybe there's a talking dog or whatever. You know, gameplay is how you interact with the game, and what makes that challenging is kind of, okay, you think about something like Dark Souls, or how there are so many Dark Souls out there, you know, there's a lot of Souls-like, but the thing is, what makes Dark Souls work and stand out compared to every other Souls-like that has come before it and after it is all these little nuanced things you don't think about. And it's things like how the game responds to your inputs. You know, people talk about Lords of the Fallen, and it's got weird turning apparently. It's got weird movement, or things don't feel in place. I was just watching a video about Shaq Fu the other day, and just like, from the video itself, it looks like a fine game. Like, I could see myself playing it, but listening to how people interact with it it really kind of made that point clear, where it's like, it is about the feedback that the player is getting when they're, pressing the buttons, or how the character interacts with the movements, or, what the player is thinking they want the character to do, but it is not doing that. So over time, the thing was that it was a matter of trying to figure out what gameplay systems worked the best with people around me, and because, of course, this game was designed for mobiles in mind, we had to account for touch controls and the fact that you only have the one button, aka your finger, right? Yeah, you only have the one finger that you interact with in the game. There was also a few other things where I was like, okay, I specifically want the player to be controlling more than one character, right? Let's get all these dudes here and get a proper... Yes, it's a person. Yeah, and so that was kind of the challenge. It was a combination of like, okay, I want to do my own thing, but I still need to make this accessible, not only to, the casual players, but not veteran, but usual gamers, gamers who understand the language of gaming. They'll know what's kind of going on when they start messing around with it. And the thing was, what I was trying to do is, I wanted to combine RTS gameplay mechanics and stuff like, you select your character and you move them around places. So kind of like League of Legends, right? Mobile, or whatever it's called at the moment. And the funny thing is, I've never tried that game, so my point of reference for the most point was, this is going very messy, but I hope that's okay with y'all. I was going with Chwawi, or otherwise known as The World Ends With You, which also kind of features, player controlling more than one character. Although that was different because you weren't trying to do it with one hand. You were trying to do that with two screens instead. But still, the point was, the bottom screen you controlled with kind of just your one hand, and the top screen obviously had all the controls and everything. And so what I wanted instead is, yes, control everything with kind of one hand. Everything. So as you see, the gameplay is mainly kind of, if you really think about it, gameplay, more than anything, is a user interface challenge. So I'll quickly write this whole thing here. UI UX, as what we call it in the industry, I guess. I say the industry, when it comes to mobile app development, which is something I have done before, this thing here is probably the most crucial thing. It's a thing of like, okay, Monkey sees like, gosh, I can't draw today. So the monkey thinks it's like, okay, if I do this, with my hands or whatever, I want it to kind of like have the guy run. Like, people kind of think what they want to do and they expect that to be the outcome, or if they do something, it needs to be intuitive. But the thing was, I was not building a game that was kind of intuitive, maybe that's not the word I'm looking for, but it's not usual. I couldn't just say this is like Wild Rift because I don't have like a little circle thing here that you can kind of push around. We don't have all this usual gaming stuff. All you have is a screen here with your character and no descriptions, no nothing. There's no buttons. You don't have a button here or there or whatever. There was just no direction. All you have is your finger. And that's the only thing you can think of. And this is even worse, considering the fact that this is also going to be on PC, which means I also now need to communicate a message onto PC players. So over time, the challenge has always been, okay, how do I make the controls like intuitive or obvious or make sense? What sacrifices do I have to make to the gameplay to achieve this outcome? As you might see in this footage, over time, I suppose if you're looking at video, it doesn't look as bad, but watching friends play it, it was really... There was a lot of cringe watching them fumble on the phone, like trying to figure out what the hell's going on, or if the game wasn't responsive enough or wasn't responding in one way or another. Like, its current version that is on itch.io. A friend of mine was suggesting, oh, is this an alpha? And it's like, this is not really alpha. This has already been through so much testing and bug fixes and There's still UI problems, but for the most part, the user experience has been worked on a lot at this point because, again, going back to the point of gameplay is user interface, user experience. If you don't have a user interface that's user-friendly or good user experience, things going on, then you don't have good gameplay. So through the fruits of all my testing, I eventually came up to the final product that we have here on itch.io. And so what this itch.io now represents is a vertical slice, like a fraction of what a full game could look like. And so I guess this is where we go into our next section, which is the future. I'm not gonna hold that, I'm just gonna write as fast as I can. Bling, bong. Alright, so what does the future of Soul Dream look like at the moment? So if we've just finished, I've just finished, so I've just finished Milestone 1, and yeah, like I said, the one that's on itch.io is basically that is all good. So the next step is honestly Milestone 2, and you're thinking, as a viewer, the hell does this mean for me? Does this mean more game? And if that's what you wanted, then that's basically what it is. There's kind of a number of things I want to go over. With Milestone 2, there's some few obvious additions I want to make. Things like more enemies, more bosses, another playable character, as you might have noticed in footage that I put here, that it is meant to be played with more than one character, and of course I'm supposed to set it in this video. But one thing that I definitely want to try adding is level generation. So you might be thinking, level generation? Is that random? Is that roguelike? And kind of it is, but not quite. So if you ever played Dot Hack, there's this feature in the game that's called Chaos Gate, which basically allows you to put a bunch of words together to create a seed. So seed meaning like, in Minecraft where you have your random seed, or you can put your own seed to generate the world. So that's something that I want to add into the game. And the thing is, I've kind of done a fraction of that already. Fun, right? So I say a fraction, I've done most of the design work. It's just a matter of putting it into code and making it work and generating the levels, all of that sort of stuff, and all the loot, all the everything. And yeah, although on my Excel sheet here, a very important Excel sheet, I've got the release date for that being at mid-September, but that is not looking very realistic. We're probably looking at somewhere in October. Even October is really optimistic, but that's my goal anyway. I might try to add some dialogue so we can have, more on the characters, something to look forward to. Oh yeah, and forgot one more thing. I also need to work on the user interface. Because if you haven't tried it already, there's a lot of things you can do that you probably have not done with the user interface yet, so consider that a freebie if you watched up to this point. Anyways, that concludes this vlog, so thank you very much for watching up to this point. Seeing as you're enjoying these vlog updates on Soul Dream, I can highly recommend that you subscribe to my channel, click the notification bell, and yeah, I hope to see you on the next vlog. Catch you laters.